Right, everyone. Right, everyone. Sprint race, USGP. Let's do it. Let's do it. But first, I think we need to... I'm going to let all the South Africans come in. We'll see the South Africans coming in. Don't worry. We'll let them come in. But we are back. We're back for Formula 1. Formula 1's my favourite sport. I actually don't really like any other sports. In fact, I don't really follow any other sports other than Formula 1. So I don't really even know what happens in other sports. I'm all about the Formula 1, me. That's the only sport for me. Welcome, Bebop. Yeah, we need to maybe get our own theme. We do have our own themes. I think you're late, mate. We're already here. We're already streaming. We do have our own themes. Make a general. What do you mean make a general? Like appoint a general like in Roman era times. So I think there's just been another F1 Academy race. Mia washed. Who's washed? What's going on the wash front? There's some celebrities here. I don't know who they are, I'm afraid. I'm sure they're very famous. It's a lady, she's blonde, and she's got big sunglasses. So maybe someone can identify that. Jess, what team we supporting today? I don't really support a team, but if I had to choose a driver that I would like to do well, I would really like Ferrari to have a punchy result here, but I feel like Hamilton as well. It'd be great for Hamilton to have a good result. Not sure what that means. Ack Mitchell. Joylight watched it. You mean the sprint qualifying? I thought we were giving common words out on chats. It's not a game that we've played before. Yeah, they're just giving out the trophies for the F1 Academy stuff to the female drivers who have raced here and won. Let them drive out, Beg says. What do you mean let them drive out? Jess, Lando gets on the podium. Well, Lando's got a good shot. But if you want to know the top three, it's quite an unusual top three. Hamda Al-Kubaisi in first, Lena Bula in P2, Jessica Egger in P3. So none of the top drivers I would have expected up there, actually. Maybe there was a massive incident. We will see. Welcome, Kate, as well. Tanzila says back-to-back sprints. Can we confirm? Is it back-to-back sprints? Is it back-to-back sprints or not? By the way, chat, after this stream, we go straight into the premiere. Straight into the premiere that you do not want to miss. You don't want to miss this, I'm telling you. How I tried to become a real racing driver. This is the link, but don't worry. The stream will take you there automatically afterwards. But just so you have it, that's where we're going afterwards. And you don't want to miss that video. You don't want to miss it. I've decided to premiere it today. Doing the big old premiere. Because we like to do premieres here. Joy Lightkin, she deserved to win, and now she's moving on and up. I think they said she was still going to be involved in racing, but a higher level. Someone did get a job as an engineer, actually. So one of the racing drivers got a job as an engineer, which is very cool. More representation in motorsport was a good thing. Welcome, Vlatka. Mia says, basically you flopped. I don't know what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. Absolutely no idea what that refers to in any possible way. Sauber Academy still exists. Been some very good drivers who've come through the Sauber Academy. I have to say, I don't think any of them drank their champagne though. Beg's going Verstappen, Leclerc and Norris. Chaya's happy to be back. That's awesome. So yeah, we're here for the sprint race. Looks like packed grandstands at Austin, which is cool. There were some discussions about whether the audience participation in the US was going to be as high this year, given the championship was wrapped up relatively early. We'll see. Welcome Zero, welcome Motive. Good to see people having fun in the chat. So Abby Pulling was 4th, Marty was down in P5, Bustamante in 7th, Chloe Chong in P6, Chloe Grant in P9, and Lola Lovin' Foss in P8 there. And there'll be another race tomorrow. In fact, Marta Garcia did not finish, so the championship winner did not finish in that race for some reason. Must have been some drama there. Welcome Bebop Cowboy with the cowboy hat. Mia, do you think the sprint races add more excitement or ruins it? So this is what I would do with a sprint race, right? So what I would do with a sprint race is I would take... So let me just get it in my mind, because this is actually what they should do.
There's been a crash.
Okay, this is how you fix F1 sprint races, okay? So you take the qualifying and you just massively condense it into just a one-lap shootout. That's it. Each driver, all 20 drivers get a one-lap shootout. It's more random, it mixes it up. That's all you want in a sprint race. Then do 2 sprint races, 2 shorter sprint races. The first sprint race, I don't know, like a 12, 13, 14-lap race, is from your qualifying. And at the end of that race, get a celebrity to pick a ball out of a hat, and then you randomize the grid down to that number, so they pick out number 9. You reverse it from number 9, sorry. And they do a second sprint race that's a part reverse grid. I think that's what they need to do. That's how you fix it. Just solved it. I've just solved it there. Easy. Thank me later. In the sprint, the same thing will happen as Qatar. Actual race, Oscar will be... Well, let's see who really wants it in the sprint. Let's have a look. Jess going... Yeah, Verstappen, Lando, Leclerc. Welcome Motive. Goonies predicting a crash and Piastri getting another sprint win. Wow. Let's see. Piastri king of the sprints, maybe. Could happen. Mike, double McLaren podium again. So we got a lot of McLaren fans in the house, I have to say. Welcome Rudolph. Joy Light again saying, I have a family sitting there in the cheap seats, roasting from the heat in Texas. I was invited, but not going to be leaving my house. So you were invited, but you wanted to hang out with us, right? You wanted to hang out on this stream because we've got the best community here. I get it. Very nice. Bebop, if everything's broken in Texas, how come sprint race? Yeah, just do like a 3-hour race. Goonie, reverse grid from standings. Yeah, that's how you make the reverse grid work, in my opinion. You have to randomize it so people can't... You can't, otherwise there'll be too much gamesmanship. I mean, I've done that in iRacing. I shouldn't say it, but I guess I'll say it. If I know that the reverse grid is the top 10, then, you know, I don't mind so much finishing 10th place. Jess is watching this live in a cruise right now. Jess, let us know which ocean are we beaming to? Which ocean are we beaming to, Jess? It's back-to-back sprint. Yeah, so surely Mexico is not a sprint. Surely it's not a triple sprint. Bebop, reverse works at the karting track. Emphasis on defense. What does that mean? So I'm just trying to get my battery charging. Bunik, do they use electric power at the same place every lap? No. So I actually have done a video on how ERS works as in F1 Manager. I think it's the most popular video on ERS, but basically at a very high level you have 3 elements to ERS. You have the battery, obviously, maybe not obviously. The battery has a certain amount that it can it has a limited amount it can hold, although that is artificially limited, so it could hold more, but it's artificially limited at something like 4 megajoules. Then you have the amount that you can harvest a lap, that again is artificially limited, like the cars could harvest a lot more than they're allowed to, so you have that. And then you have the amount you can deploy. And the way the calculation, where it gets funny is that you can deploy 4 megajoules a lap, so you can basically deplete your whole battery in 1 lap. But you're only allowed to harvest a maximum of 2 megajoules a lap. So it takes you 2 laps to harvest. And even then, that would be fully harvesting. You'd probably really harvest 1 megajoule a lap because you'd harvest 2 and then deploy 1. So yeah, it gets a bit funny. Gets a bit funny like that. What was I doing? This battery. So basically it changes all the time. Why is this battery? We got battery in it. I'll work it out. No, I should do it now. Let's work out this battery. Come on. Maybe the battery's bloated. Interlagos is the next and last sprint race. Wow. Memories from 2021, wasn't it? Sprint race. Max Verstappen touching the wing. By the way, what do people make of the maximum fine now going up to $1 million? $1 million. What do people make of that? To me, it seems a bit like... I'm not sure what I'd do if someone asked me to pay $1 million. Jess has gone to the Mediterranean Sea. Very nice. On the cruise. Are we on the big screen? I'm imagining then that we're all on the big screen on the cruise ship. In the canteen. I'm sure it's nice in the canteen. It's not the right word. Tanzina says, don't be surprised if the people who are watching this stream goes through the roof because I'm about to tell people on Discord. Tanzila's on a rampage here. Mia says absolute joke. Chris says absolutely ridiculous. Cheat says it should be 5 million. Chaya seems a bit excessive. So I saw people defending it saying, oh, they'll never use it. It's just a cap. But it doesn't matter because it would only be in crazy circumstances. And it's like, well, then you don't need to increase it then. If it's never going to be used, don't increase it. It's just the optics. Like, we all know that Formula 1 is a rich person sport. Motorsport, unfortunately, the reality is that it's very expensive. And not only is it expensive, but it is also a rich person's club, in addition. There's lots of things that are expensive that are not rich people's clubs. Like, motorsport is all about rubbing shoulders and networking and, you know, it's who you know. It's who you know. Mark Johnson, millions of fine, my Jules. Mark, you got to let us know what you're dining with this evening. What you're dining with? Bebop cash grab depends on the situation. What situation would actually call for the full 1 million? I suppose if you shot another driver, I'd imagine they'd hit the limit on that. I remember the good old days of F1 2021. Well, it's not really the good old days. That's quite recent. That's like basically yesterday. But it was a good season. Yes, I agree on that point. Chris says only Grosjean and Maldonado would accrue such a fine. Well, as you'll see, well, you won't strictly see actually, but the premiere of the video that's coming after the stream that I really hope you will join me in watching. There's some stuff there about fines and damage and cost of motorsport. I cannot get this thing to charge. I just can't. I'm just wiggling it up and down and it just won't connect. I'm actually a bit worried now. If I just pop it in and out, like, nope. Take it all the way out. Nope. Just nothing is happening. Is that the right? Yeah, it's the right way around. Bear with me. Bear with me a second. Nope. I'll have to do it after the stream. Ah, it's worked now, yes. Pro skill, never ever in doubt. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the fine. By the way, George Russell got a penalty. George Russell did get penalised for the impeding, like I thought he would. And I wonder if that's due to the fact that his radio was not working properly and you couldn't hear his engineer. But arguably the team should have used some alternate way to not put him in such a high-risk situation. Because he did properly impede Carlos Sainz. I don't like the way Carlos Sainz effectively did the same thing that footballers do where they wave a yellow card by going on the radio and saying, yep, that's a penalty for Russell, book it. For me, that's a little bit... it's not very classy. by our smooth operator, I thought. Isabel, do you follow the F1 Academy? Yeah, we've just been talking about it. We've just been talking about it. And next year should be very exciting. Jess, do you miss Sebastian Vettel being in F1? I do miss him, but I prefer old Seb, actually. I prefer old, arrogant, prickly Seb from like the Red Bull days. I don't like this cuddly, sort of like everyone's friend Sebastian Vettel now. You know, long hair like he's a hippie. I like old school Sebastian, just riling everyone up, troublemaker. You know, P1, would do ruthless stuff with his teammates. I miss that Sebastian Vettel. And I personally feel that era of F1, partly because the cars sounded, they sounded a lot better than they do now, and partly because Mark Webber gave such a run on Sebastian Vettel, gave him like no space. I feel like that was more exciting than the Mercedes domination that we had, actually. No idea what your content is, F1 Gamer. You have to describe what your content is. I have to use my imagination. I have no idea what you do or even who you are. Joy like Max for the win, we'll see. Mia, I like the young Sebastian, but now he's gone hippie mode. Mark Johnson's gone Tandoori, King Prawn, Jalfrezi, Pilau Rice, Alu Gobi, Chill Cobra, Bosh. Is what they would say in England to that. The Bosh. Lucky, who else in chat is a McLaren fan? Kate's got the papaya out. Before we go into fans, let me know what you're eating today, because I've just had a whole bag of popcorn when I was watching the... Oh, no, actually, I wasn't watching anything. Let us know what you're eating. And also, smash that like button, chat. 175 people watching, 24 likes. Let's pump those likes up. Let's pump those likes up. And also, I'm just going to pin random comments today. So what's the best random comment? I'm going to pin this one. I'm just going to keep repinning stuff. Sebastian Vettel, you're world champion. Iconic radio scenes. George, Alonso was thereabouts too in an arguably inferior car. Yes. So I think it's because you had... And also the McLaren, you had like Hamilton and Button at McLaren for a lot of that as well. So it was like really... It was different days back then. I mean, some people in this chat will remember, some people won't. But even though Sebastian Vettel was dominating, and we'd fairly recently come off Michael Schumacher, like real Ferrari, that was like real domination. Like top to bottom, quasi-rigged domination. So we came off that, and then we had 2 years of Fernando Alonso at Renault, which were a massive breath of fresh air. And in those years, like, Kimi Raikkonen was really quick at McLaren, but his car kept blowing up. Ferrari and Schumacher were like just, you know, like the FIA turned against them. There's a lot of stuff going on. Then we had Raikkonen, Brawn GP, that kind of stuff. No, Brawn GP, sorry, was much later. My bad. That was after Red Bull. So then we had Kimi Raikkonen in 7, and that was Kimi Raikkonen versus Hamilton in his rookie season. And then was it? Am I getting this wrong? Was it 8, 9, 10, 11? Was it 8, 9, 10, 11 Red Bull? And then was it 12 Brawn then? And then was it 13, 14, 15, 16 Rosberg, right? 17, 18, 19, 20. Was it 20? No. I'm missing it. Because I missed out Hamilton winning from McLaren. I need to push it all back, don't I? Am I getting that all wrong? 07 was Kimi, right? 08 was Hamilton for McLaren. 09 was Brawn, sorry. And then 10, was it then 10, 11, 12, 13 was Vettel? Cheech, we can't be making comments like that, you're going to get yourself timed out, my friend. It's just not... It's not how we operate on this channel. 10 with Sebira, yeah. Lax is eating, no... That's for amateurs, only coffee at 11. Lucky, when I got into F1, I couldn't watch it anywhere, and at Qatar I found your videos. It was a blessing. Very nice. Good to hear. When does the quali start? Well, quali's done. But the race is going to start in 40 minutes for the sprint. And the sprint grid, unlike the race grid, has Max Verstappen on pole position. Pigeon says, opinion on circuit of the Americas. I think it's a really good circuit. I think it's a driver's circuit. I think it's a difficult circuit. And I think it's frankly incredible how close we've seen the spread of drivers here. Cameron, you should watch the video where Vettel names all the F1 champions in reverse order. Okay, let's do that then. So F1 champions in reverse order. Verstappen, Verstappen, Verstappen. Hamilton, Rosberg. Hamilton. Vettel, Jensen, Button, Hamilton again, Kimi, Fernando, Alonso, Schumacher, Hakkinen twice, was it Hakkinen twice? Villeneuve, and Damon Hill. Schumacher again. So who won before Schumacher at Benetton? Chat, who won before Schumacher at Benetton? So we're talking like 93 or something. Who won in 93? Prost? Prost? Senna? Did I go Prost, Senna? Ah, some people at Senna, some people at Prost. Welcome, Stefania. I'm sleeping at 2 AM again. It's 11:21 in Italy, and the race, I know, it's a late one for us Europeans. But it's a sprint as well, so it'll be pretty intense. Now, we did Damon, mate. You gotta keep up with this. 91 with Senna. Okay. So Senna and then Prost. I tell you what, Sebastian Vettel's a bit better than us, isn't he? Oh, 92 Mansell, 93 Prost. So actually, it's Prost, Mansell, Senna. Prost, Mansell, Senna. Then who? So now I want to know. Is it goes back to Prost again? And did we get everything right until that point? Stefano says PK, Nelson PK Jr. was 87 or 88. AKA Max Verstappen's dad. PK won a couple, didn't he? In the 80s, it was just a madness, wasn't it? People that didn't study for the quiz. You got to come into these streams having done your preparation, because you could be quizzed at any point. There's the real danger that you could be put on the spot and quizzed. 88 was Senna. Joy, what a wonderful memory you have. I don't remember yesterday. Well, I don't remember what I did for the last 2 hours, actually, so my memory is not so good. Rudolph confirming that Renault bought Benetton. Confirmed. Mute mind. My F1 sub is over as Max won championship. I have no interest in the Renault. Mute is only here for the Drivers' Championship. Nothing else matters. Mute is here for business only. Not messing around with these other positions. It's about P1 or nothing. Lauda 84. 88, 89, 91 Senna. 90 was, yeah, the last corner, wasn't it? He made sure that wouldn't be a problem again. So who's 87? Is 87 Rosberg? 87 is Rosberg, maybe? JJ's here for the biscuit. Oh, here comes Simba. 88 Senna. Okay, go back there. So Schumacher, Prost, Mansell, Senna. Prost, Senna. But then, yeah, PK 87. Then is it Rosberg 86? So who's 85? Who's 85? Prost. Because Prost won 4. So Prost must be 85. No, Rosberg's 82. Hang on then, who's 86? Who's 86?
Okay, understood. And just remind you to use the pit limiter in the pit lane.
Who's 86 then? We got 87. We got 84. We need 86. Riccardo Patrese drove. We're not interested in Patrese. Hang on, did Patrese win a championship though? Is Patrese a world champion? I'm sure he's not, because didn't we go through Brazilian world champions the other day? Prost 85, 86, 84 Lauda. So Rosberg's 82. Who's 83 then? Is 83 Patrese? Okay, so just confirming this. Yeah, we're all good. Like, I'm all good down to like 93. Like I can do I did 93 off memory. But honestly, I'd be no good in the 70s. I'd be no good. PK. Did PK win it twice as well? So it's PK 83 and Rosberg's 82. Yeah, PK 83, Rosberg 82. Lauda 81? No, Lauda had a big gap, didn't he? Rosberg 81 PK, 80 Alan Jones. Yeah, PK's got 3. PK's sneakily got 3. So the Verstappen family now have 6 between them. So that means there's another peak. Is 79 could be... No. So 79... What about... What about James Hunt? I've raced James Hunt's son, actually. In real life. 79 was Scheckter, Jody Scheckter. Alan, what about Fisichella? Get out of here. The 79 was Scheckter. 78 must have been Lauda. 78 Lauda and 77... Yeah, look at me. No, 78 was Mario Andretti, 77 Lauda, 76 was Hunt, 75 was Lauda, and 74 was... Is Jackie Stewart still racing 74? Did I start racing computer? I would say I started really racing in karting in real life. Is 74 then Stewart? Oh no, is Fittipaldi 74? And didn't Fittipaldi win a couple? And Fittipaldi kept racing till he was like 60, I swear. Not in F1, but in other stuff. Okay, Fittipaldi 74, so 73. 73, Jackie Stewart then? Were they trading? Stewart 73. Fittipaldi 72. 71 I reckon is someone different. 71 I reckon is... Did Graham Hill ever win it? No. Did Villeneuve Senior or Hill Senior? Would that be too young? I know I should read it. Jock and Rint 70. Okay, so Stewart 73, Fittipaldi 72, 71 is Fittipaldi. Rint 70, 69.
The session has now finished.
Who we got in 69 then? 69 must be Stewart, surely. Graham Hill did win too, so surely Graham Hill must coming up soon. Who is the most wins? Well, it's tied at the top. It's tied. What about 69? I'm not sure everyone's live, by the way. Make sure you hit live on your thing. 69 Stewart. So 68. This is where I reckon it gets like. Are we even in like Jim Clark territory? What about people like Brabham and all those? Guinness saying Graham Hill 68. So 67 must be. I mean, what an era to be racing in. Oh my goodness, F1 in the 60s. I bet it was completely different. Brabham 66. Okay, so we need 67 then. We need 67. Villeneuve never won it, actually, did he? Villeneuve never won it. Denny Hulme. I've never heard. I don't believe you. I've literally never heard that name. I do not. I reject that. I do not believe you. Chat, can we confirm or deny that? Can we confirm or deny? Phil Hill. Okay, let me just move it. Let's put this straight to the race, actually.
Today, we see the culmination of the team's practice efforts translate to the all.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you for letting me know. Bear with me. Who am I sporting? Denny, how have I never heard the name Denny? I feel like I need to be like sent for re-education. Like, how can I not know an F1 champion? Like, seriously. We'll just do this practice as well. Okay, well, apologies to the family of Denny Hume and Denny Hume himself. I didn't know that. It's very disappointing for myself. Fellow Kiwi of Bruce McLaren was a Kiwi, so wasn't he? Yeah, when was Surtees? Surtees was in the 60s. When was Surtees? So we hit the Fangio block at 57. Jim Clark 65, but Jim Clark won 3, didn't he? I tell you, in the 60s, I'm not good. Okay. Okay, let's do this then, chat. Let's do this. Let's start from present day and go backwards. So we got 2023 Verstappen, 2022 Verstappen, 2021 Verstappen, 2020 Hamilton, 2019 Hamilton. I need to count these. 2020 Hamilton, 2019 Hamilton, 2018 Hamilton, 2017 was Rosberg, 2016 Hamilton, or it might be the other way around. 2015 Hamilton. '14 Hamilton. It's 2014 Hamilton. 2013 then Vettel. 2012 Vettel. 2011 Vettel. 2010 Vettel. 2009 Button. 2008 Hamilton. 2007 Raikkonen. 2006 Alonso. 2005 Alonso. 2004 Schumacher. 3 Schumacher, 2 Schumacher, 2001 Schumacher, 2000. Hang on. 4 Schumacher, 3 Schumacher, 2 Schumacher. Does Hakkinen win in 01? No, Hakkinen won 99. Sorry. Schumacher goes all the way to 2000, right? And then 99, 98 Hakkinen, 97 Villeneuve, 96 Hill, 95, 94 Schumacher. 93. Oh, I need to know this. 93. Was it Prost? Was it Prost in 93? Prost in 93. Oh my god, we just did this. Prost 93. Wasn't Senna 91? Oh, no, sorry. Prost 93. 92 Mansell. 91 Senna, right? 1990... Was it Prost again in 1990? Ah, my brain. Okay. So then 89. 89. PK? Was it PK 89? '89 was Senna. 89 was Senna. 88 PK. 87 Prost. I don't know. 89 Prost. 88. How did Mansell only win one, by the way? 89 Prost. 88. Was it Senna then? Senna 88. Was it PK? Ah. Where's Rosberg? Rosberg was 82, wasn't he? '88 Senna, 87 PK, 86 was 84 was Lauda, so 86 Prost, 86 Prost, 85 Prost, 84 Lauda, 83 PK. 82 Rosberg, 81. Ooh, 81 was Fittipaldi. No, Fittipaldi was further back, wasn't he? 80. Who's 81? And I feel like I missed a 81 PK. My word. Alan Jones. In 1980, 79 Fittipaldi then. Oh, 7. Oh, I feel like we're just going to go around in circles, aren't we? Just going to go around in circles, frankly. Okay, we've done it. We'll have to do it on the next stream. We'll just see if it is embedded in my brain a little bit more. Speaking of Magnussen's... No. Magnussen's dad never won it. What am I talking about? Mario Andretti. Is there anyone in chat who thinks they could do it down to like 1965 just without using Google? Okay, let's do it with constructors now. Let's do it with constructors, okay? Let's do it with constructors. Ah, this is going to get super difficult because in the 80s it's just a madness, isn't it? Okay, constructors then, going backwards. We've got Red Bull, Mercedes. That's actually easier. Red Bull, Mercedes, start with. Red Bull. Brawn. Ferrari, Renault. Ferrari, McLaren, Williams, Benetton, McLaren. I barely made the. I haven't even made the 80s. I haven't even made the 80s here. Chat, let me know. Let me know on the constructors front. I'm struggling there. I'm struggling. Rory McIlroy is here for the Rory Challenge. Don't know what that is, but looks fun. 94. Oh, 94 Williams. No, 94 was Benetton. I only use Bing, yeah, exclusively. I am Bing. If they had fun, they were winners. RV quit. Enough BS. RV's had it. Didn't sign up for this, frankly. So I came to learn about modern F1, none of this period stuff. 91 was McLaren. What did Mansell win in? Mansell won in a Ferrari. Okay, this is the ultimate one. Yeah, exactly. This is the ultimate one. The ultimate one is which constructor came second? That's the hardest one. Which constructor came second? Right? In the Constructors' Championship. That is super difficult, but let's try it. So, oh my goodness, it's so difficult. No, I can't. I'm not going to attempt it. Let me know in the chat if you can do that one. That's like mad level. That's too difficult, frankly. Should be illegal. Mansell was in the Williams. Oh, was that the track control Williams? Back then, you wanted Williams, didn't you? That's what you wanted. Noel Spencer says, "Yo, dude." Like you just come out of the early 2000s. Joy, I don't even know what that means, construction, whatever you said. What's that mean? Constructors means the team. There's two championships in Formula 1. One is the team one. I mean, some people say the team one's more prestigious because, really, it's about drivers, but I think you notionally win more money for the teams. But these days, there's just a lot of money just essentially having a franchise in Formula 1 because Liberty want to turn it into a NFL-style franchise system. When is the stream starting? How disrespectful to what we're doing. Williams was trick suspension, Benetton was traction control. I'm sure someone in this chat could have won with the traction control. It did set a nice precedent of getting rid of all of those driver aids. Mansell won in 1992 with Williams over Patrese, so Patrese never won. Who were some of the best drivers never to win a championship? So best drivers never to win. It's difficult, isn't it? It's the thing. If you don't win one, you become a bit anonymous in the Hall of Fame. Who's some of the best drivers to have never won? Very difficult. Montoya. I think Montoya would be up there, actually, to be fair. No, I wouldn't put Coulthard up there. Because if he was good enough, he would have won one, and he was in the McLaren long enough. So I definitely wouldn't put Coulthard. I wouldn't put Massa as well, although we'd look at Massa very differently if he'd won. I know he's trying to challenge it, but we'd look at him very differently if he was a world champion. Sterling Moss, yeah. Not sure how Sterling Moss wasn't a world champion, to be honest. Drove from Mercedes back in the day. Berger, see, I don't think Berger, Alesi, they're sort of like they're sort of like the equivalent of journeymen in boxing, right? They're kind of, you had to beat them to become the champion, right? Am I being a bit too harsh there? Am I being a bit too harsh? Chat, apart from Montoya, can anyone, and Sterling Moss, can anyone come up with a genuine driver that should have been a world champion, or one of the best drivers who's not a world champion? Noel Spencer, good to see you as well. Jackie X, maybe, although he's fairly illuminated in his endurance racing career. I mean, who's won the most races without actually winning the Drivers' Championship? That should be it. Heinz Held Frentzen. I mean, people say Heinz Held Frentzen was very highly rated, and to be honest, He was in the Williams, wasn't he? He was in the Williams in the championship winning car. And unfortunately, he went to Jordan, didn't he? Bruce McLaren. I don't know too much about Bruce McLaren as a driver. Vince Moss didn't win because Fangio was his teammate with the Mark Webber curse. Aberball says Schumacher, so presumably you mean Ralph Schumacher. Nah, Kubica can't be up, but you can't seriously. You got to have someone who's won a lot of races. So who's won a lot of races? But I mean, even Frentzen just wouldn't count for that. May says England, unlucky England, well played. Yeah, the cricket unfortunately didn't go our way, did it today? Only 15 minutes to go, by the way, till we start the sprint race. I'm ready for it. Moss Coulthard. Oh, okay, so Coulthard is up there in terms of race wins. So maybe I've been a bit unfair on the big chin. Crystal says Bottas. I mean, Bottas surely must be right up there, to be honest. Bottas is probably right up there for points scored without winning a championship. Blacker, I think you've been too harsh. Alazy was the first name I remember as a child. Maxwell, I think it's Moss with 16 wins. Perez says, this is controversial, but Barrichello had some magic days like Silverstone 2003. Ooh. Vince has put Eddie Irvine. Nope. Joy says Brundle. Nope. Marcella says Button, forgetting that Button has won a world championship. Yeah, maybe Coulthard is up there, actually. But I feel like if you put Coulthard up there, then you do really have to consider people like Massa and Barrichello. I mean, can you reasonably could you put Coulthard in there with and not Barrichello then? That seems a bit unfair. I mean, what was the head-to-head between Barrichello and Rube and Jensen at Honda? Sergio Perez? Perez be up there? Richard says Mark Webber. I mean, if Sebastian Vettel hadn't been in the other Red Bull, it's almost certain that Mark Webber would be a, multi-time drivers or champion. How is that the first time Gilles Villeneuve has come up in discussion? I mean, that is crazy, right? Matt Sappen walking to the grid. He's got his ice vest on. Barrichello. Yeah, Barrichello didn't really have weak teammates, did he? Kevin Magnussen. Are you seriously putting Kevin Magnussen up there? And by the way, who do we think, in looking at the list of drivers and removing anyone who's won the World Championship, so remove Verstappen, remove Hamilton, and remove Alonso, okay? Who do we think in that list of drivers is going to become a Hall of Fame level kind of like hero? I mean, you look down that list. It's up for the taking, isn't it? It's up for the taking. What do we think, chat, on that drivers list there? Take out the world champs. Yeah, Piastri right now seems like a good shout, doesn't it? And he seems like such a cool and calm individual as well. Daniel Ricciardo's just chilling with his Beats headphones. Patrese getting another shout. Liam Lawson. Well, hang on, we've got two on this conversation. On this one, you'd say it's possibly too late for certain drivers. I mean, it ain't going to be Sargent. I don't think it's going to be it's not going to be Bottas, Magnussen, Hulkenberg. Do we think Guan Yu Zhou is going to become a multi-time world champion? Probably not, but you never know. But I'd say no. Same with Yuki Tsunoda, I'd say no. Lance Stroll, no. Esteban Ocon, you know, maybe if Alpine get a strong car for a few seasons, George Russell maybe, you know, someone's gonna have to win these world champs if Verstappen isn't, but Ricciardo is too late. Gasly potentially. Alex Albon, if he gets into the right car, then yes, and the market for the year after next could be interesting. Perez is too late. Carlos Sainz, I mean, he's in a Ferrari, that's the thing. And so he's had time, he's been in good cars. Sneezed. Could be Leclerc, but also Leclerc's been in the Ferrari such a long time, so what's taken so long? Well, I'd say maybe it's courtesy of the old Ferrari strats, you could say. Joy, do I win a prize? Not sure. I'm not aware we were giving prizes away. Ugh. Right, everyone, the drivers are getting ready. There's 9 minutes to go till the race. The drivers are getting ready. Carlos Sainz already got his helmet on, in fact, so he's getting in nice and early.
Virtual safety car, virtual safety car.
Oh no.
Okay, understood.
How will we survive? By the way, remember in Qatar there were so many there were 3 safety cars, weren't there, in the sprint race? So we could see something similar here, especially with the fiendish turn 1, where you can end up taking a lot of collateral damage with you. Mohammed, when the sprint race just told you, man, it's 9 minutes to go till the sprint race. F1 has a Hall of Fame for journalism, so often they'll say, "Oh, this article's written by F1 Hall of Fame journalist." It's a very American concept. Hall of Fame, I mean, they tried to introduce it to the Premier League in England. It's something I don't think it really exists outside of America as a concept. So I think you really need to celebrate a Hall of Fame. I think it's a bit of a cultural thing where you induct people into it, and I think in Europe people just don't really care. Those are my thoughts anyway. Bianca, bro, I'm going. Shout me out, please. Well, good luck. Make sure you leave on time to get there for the race. Maldonado somehow won a race for Williams. Yes, indeed. That's race winner, Pastor Maldonado, in Barcelona for Williams. You know, during a time where Williams weren't very good. So, legendary race winner. Richard, you see Mansell selling loads of his stuff. What do you mean? Maldonado, best driver from Venezuela. Is Castro? Who else is from Venezuela? It's there was that guy in F2. He's a bit of a weapon. Super GT, I used to live near Manson in Jersey. He's a very strange bloke. Tell us some stories, Super GT. Tell us some stories. Gurney saying Montoya was a menace back in the day. Montoya just would not take any rubbish, because he'd already come in as a really established driver in the USA. Like, he just didn't take any nonsense. I think he roughed a lot of people up the wrong way, to be honest. I don't think Michael Schumacher was generally a fan of him in any sort of way. So with Carlos Sainz already in the car, Max Verstappen doesn't really have his overalls on. So very different approaches here to getting ready in the car, to say. But Verstappen is, yes, walking to the grid, unless it was canned interview, but I don't think it was actually. The grid is thinning out a little bit. There's only 6 minutes to go now. We are going to see Max Verstappen start, by the way, on the outside of the track going into turn 1. So Max is starting on the outside. I don't understand the logic sometimes with the way they set up grids. By the way, I had such a bad grid start in my... Well, actually, I don't want to spoil videos. You'll see. You'll see in the videos, including in the premiere today. By the way, I love Charles Leclerc's helmet. He was getting some heat on social media, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Helmut Marko's looking over Max Verstappen. Been some rumours this week that Christian Horner doesn't really like helmet Marco, but Verstappen says Marco goes, I go. Might be some silly season, who knows? Bob Badger saying Ricciardo is washed. Well, that is your opinion. I suspect. Let's see whether he's washed or not, considering that he did qualify P11. Unfortunately, he missed out getting into Q3. And then George Russell got demoted after for impeding Carlos Sainz. If I remember correctly. Jim saying Marco needs to bounce. Marco needs to get out of here. Right, let me go to just the race here. Bear with me. Let me get us onto the race. Should have done that earlier. Should have done it earlier. Well, Ricciardo, I think the only shot Ricciardo has at a championship realistically is if he does really well now in his second part of his comeback. If he takes Sergio Perez's seat at Red Bull, and if he somehow manages to go toe-to-toe with Max Verstappen and play a lot of dirty tricks, and maybe win over some staff internally that might be a bit disgruntled with Max, if there are any, I'm not saying there are, and sort of, yeah, play a guerrilla war against Max Verstappen on the inside, an attritional one. That's what I suspect he would need to do.
Sounds like a spin.
Nick saying Ricciardo needs a better career. Wow, that's very harsh. At first, and they really took the time in qualifying penalties. Yes, I think they could have given that one and maybe let a driver get into Q3. Although it's very unlikely Ricciardo would have actually improved materially. He's probably saved a set of tyres, actually. You could say. Snowline says, arrogant Seb was the best. I loathe snowflakes. Not a fan of the snow. Not a fan of the snow. So, just 2 minutes to go. I'm just going to get the race on in the background before we start. And we'll see who's up for the sprint. Who's race ready, who's a bit rusty. Remember the 3-wide collision we had, Perez and Hulkenberg involved. How will Lance Stroll do starting in P14? The Aston Martins didn't have good pace in qualifying for the race. Will the McLarens really be aggressive and try and get to the front? Is Max Verstappen going to run away with it? Is there going to be a big battle for the points behind or not? We will see. Well, did the Red Bull have so much oversteer in Ricciardo's Red Bull? Ricciardo seems to be a driver who's quite sensitive to how the car drives. It certainly seemed that way at McLaren, where McLaren decided to develop I think particularly the braking in the way that Lando really liked, and Daniel Ricciardo just couldn't deal with it, frankly. Right, let me just get this going. Simulate 2-dar race. Yeah, Max Verstappen's been speaking about starting a sim team, actually.
The grid is packed and there's electricity in the air. But there's no surprises in that. It's race day.
It is race day indeed. Right, there we go. Get that going. Get that going.
It's a cloudy day for the race, but the atmosphere,
okay,
as ever,
2 minutes to go, everyone, till we get the formation lap underway. Esteban Ocon well down in P13. Even though the Alpine have shown some good pace in certain sectors. And I wonder if this is going to be dictated by sort of whether you can escape DRS zones or not. We will see. We will see, everyone. Carlos Sainz in P6, Oscar Piastri in P5, Lando Norris P4, Lewis Hamilton in P3, and then Charles Leclerc P2, Max on the outside in P1. So Charles Leclerc has a good start here. I imagine we'll see Max Verstappen try and angle his car to cover off Max Verstappen, but we will see.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
Let me know how the sound is as well, by the way. If it's too loud or not too loud. You're the boss. So the driver's on the grid. Hamilton puts his gloves on. Tyre warmer's about to come off. And we're going to go onto the formation lap for our sprint race, where there are important drivers' championship points up for grabs, I would say, in this battle. Welcome, Musa. Oh, it's loud. Okay, let's lower it. Let's lower it. Let's have to wiggle this. There we go. Is that better? Is that better? That seems like it's a little bit better, right?
This is my pace.
See, some people will say it's fine, some people say it isn't. Okay, everyone's off the grid now. All the engineers off the grid.
Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
So the car is just... here we go. There we go. Formation lap is underway. Very slow start from the McLarens. Very quick start from the front three cars. It's a different philosophy in how they want to get off the line for the start of the formation lap. Perfect now. Very good. Why don't we do a nations check at the start of the race? Let us know where in the world you're watching from. We've got the lap. We've got the lap to run through, everyone. So let us know in the chat where in the world you're watching from. Carlos Sainz, meanwhile, is the only driver in the grid to be starting on the soft tyre, and they're scrubbed. And we saw how that went for George Russell in Qatar, i.e. not very good. So why has Carlos Sainz decided to start on the soft tyre? Is that tyre going to last all 19 laps at the Circuit of the Americas? We will see. Right, we've got Finland, Australia, England, Netherlands, South Africa, Canada, Rich from England, Miami, Zhao from East Coast, Cameron from South Africa, Things from India, Blatka from Croatia, and Ursong from Trinidad. Bart from Holland, Goat from London, Miguel from Portugal, Sasquatch from Australia. Nick saying too much deg and heat. Pooh's watching from Tenerife, very nice. You can see there, Carlos Sainz, the only driver on the soft tyre. RV's watching from the Vatican, Jim from the UK, Petrus Vans to Oosthuizen, watching from South Africa. Elise from Germany, Peter Barbados, Eagle from the Philippines. We love to see it. We love to see it, everyone. So the cars making their way around the formation lap here.
DRS enabled. DRS.
Putting some heat into the tyres. Super GT from Jersey. Okay, a bit varied, a bit varied. Not as intense as we had earlier, I would say. Maybe we'll do another one halfway through. Maria from Portugal, Isabel from France. And Max Verstappen goes around turn 19 in the splendid Red Bull USA livery. Always F1, always trying to impress Americans. And we'll see how long Max Verstappen is going to be made to wait in his grid slot, as I said, on the outside of the track as they will go into turn 1. So I'll keep a keen eye on how he positions the car. Welcome Visions and Dale. Yeah, Mediterranean Sea was the cruise. And Lando Norris is going to position his car behind Charles Leclerc. And yeah, a little bit of an angle there from Max Verstappen, a little bit of an angle. By the way, I thought there was a blatant false start in the first F1 Academy race today. For some reason, it was not picked up. Nice. I lost it. Everyone's getting ready, basically. It's just the formation lining up. Right, here we go. Last driver is in their grid slot. The marshal walks with the green flag. 1 red light, 2 red light, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights. I'm going to call it how I see it. And it's a good start from Verstappen. It's a decent start from Leclerc, so Verstappen will need to come across. I think, oh my goodness, Verstappen puts Leclerc almost on the grass across the pit exit. Really dangerous, that. And Lewis Hamilton sneaks his way into P2 but did go into the runoff on the exit of turn 1 to do so. So Charles Leclerc has really lost out here, and I don't think he'll be too happy about Max Verstappen pushing him so wide and also Lewis Hamilton overtaking him off track. But it's rare to see someone get pushed so wide off the start. Don't really know what the etiquette or the rules are there, but they seem to travel half of Texas to make sure that Charles Leclerc did not go past. I'll keep calling it how I see it, as the Alpines are stuck near the back of the grid and both Aston Martins are fighting each other. We don't want to see Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso come together again, but that could happen because they're going side by side down the back straight. Lots of chopping and changing on the back straight as Carlos Sainz went for a huge move on that would have been Lando Norris using the soft tyres. So a massive move there. And one of the Aston Martins, I'm guessing Lance Stroll, just completely failed to make the corner in the background of my eye. Half a second penalty. Not sure that sort of penalty exists. So keep an eye on Carlos Sainz making his way through. And also Sergio Perez in P7 could potentially try and get past both McLarens here. The race is stretching out a little bit. And it is Lewis Hamilton, who I had tipped to have a good weekend here in the races, has managed to get himself into P2, but I'm not convinced that's going to stand, to be honest. Now, there's always a little bit of a delay. Don't worry, we know what we're doing here. Just calling it as I'm seeing it at the moment, and I'll sync up with you guys and girls. So, in fact, it might have been Fernando Alonso, my bad, who went deep there, because Alonso's dropped down to P15 with Lance Stroll in P13. So maybe Alonso had gone for a big move, locked up, and then went very deep at the end of the back straight. And there's an interesting situation developing with the McLarens as well, because it feels like Oscar Piastri is all over Lando Norris, and I mean all over him. So if I was Oscar Piastri, I'd be getting on the radio saying, hang on, I've got Sergio Perez trying to overtake me, but only because I can't get Lando slowing us down. But let's see. How long is sprint going to be? It's going to be another 17 laps here at the Circuit of the Americas. And Lewis Hamilton, can he put the pressure on Max Verstappen? He will have the benefit of DRS. And meanwhile, it was, I think, Oscar Piastri squeezing Sergio Perez wide at one of the corners. I don't think Perez will be too happy about that, but Perez is all over the McLarens, and frankly, it feels like it's only a matter of time. George Russell's an interested party there as well, but you can see Lewis Hamilton is like the good old days, is keeping Max Verstappen very honest here, and let's see if he can keep within a second of Verstappen coming down the back straight and get a healthy slipstream as well. We will see. George saying Lance probably pushed him off, but that would be true to form, wouldn't it? But I feel like we might have an interesting situation developing at the front, and Hamilton is going 100%. He's looked so relaxed this weekend. Look at the gap as well that Leclerc has to Sainz, but Carlos Sainz is on the soft tyre. So what happens if Carlos Sainz catches Charles Leclerc? Does he immediately get on the radio to say, hey, you've got to let me through because Leclerc's on the slower tyre? Sergio Perez is all over the McLarens here, absolutely all over them. And in fact, he has got past Oscar Piastri. Perez looks like he's really on it here. And here is Hamilton. You can see his sector times are faster than Max Verstappen. So Lewis Hamilton, I think, is going to give Max Verstappen a real run for his money here. It's an absolute mess in the midfield. You've got to feel a bit for Piastri. Maybe he has some sort of issue with the car, because George Russell has also managed to get past Oscar Piastri. So things go bad for worse for Piastri in the sprint. But let's have a look here at the front of the race. Keep an eye on Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Hamilton was able to take 3/10 out. In fact, the gap is now only half a second. And I'm seeing what happened here. Oscar Piastri, I think, was a bit of a driver mistake. Went a little bit too deep into the left-hander after the big straight. That let Perez through pretty quickly. He then got a twitch through the tight corners that followed. And George Russell was able to go round the outside, albeit off the track. So George Russell overtook Oscar Piastri off the track there. And if I was Oscar Piastri, I'd be getting on the radio saying, hey, he's taking me around the outside. But George Russell would probably say, well, he didn't leave me enough room around the outside that I have to go off track. It's a bit of an interesting dynamic there. Meanwhile, at the front of the grid, I'm not sure this strategy is going to work out for Carlos Sainz. Pierre Gasly on the radio saying Russell overtook off the track. So Pierre Gasly playing the F1 policeman, asking for a penalty for George Russell. That shows you where Alpine, think it's worth asking people to get a penalty. Unless he's trying to be a good Samaritan. There is a good Samaritan sort of law in France, isn't there? Have a look at the beginning here. Max Verstappen, he pushed Charles Leclerc all over the dusty pit exit, and that really allowed Lewis Hamilton to strike. So, going to have a look on board from Oscar Piastri's view. And yeah, Max Verstappen, wow, he's very close to putting Charles Leclerc actually in the end of the pit wall. There was a bit of contact between Piastri and another driver as well, so I wonder if Piastri has damage to his front wing, which could explain why he is dropping back so significantly and now falling into the clutches of Pierre Gasly. So I really suspect that there is some damage there for Oscar Piastri. What do we think, chat? What do we think about the race? Who's going to win this? Hamilton or Verstappen? Put your Hamilton or Verstappen emojis, because I feel like we're going to get potentially a classic battle here between these two old foes. We have Hamilton fans or Verstappen fans in the chat. Lewis Hamilton again is within a second of Max Verstappen, and how hard is Verstappen going to defend? Do Mercedes think they might be better on the tyre degradation and therefore they don't need to push it? Do they think they need to actually strike early, because if they leave it too long, Verstappen will just drive off into the distance? We will see. You can see Hamilton was able to close pretty much half a second there on that back straight. I think all fans of motorsport will want to see Lewis Hamilton give this a real go against Max Verstappen. A real go. Here we go, coming in now. Mia says Hamilton. Chaya says Lewis. Stoneline says Lewis. Ghost Hamilton. MD Hamilton. Lego Hamilton. Vlatka Hamilton. Pranel Verstappen. Maria Hamilton. Isabel Leclerc. Christoph Hamilton. Black and Blue Hamilton. Bob Hamilton. Lego says Max Verstappen. So we got some difference of opinion there. But yeah, keep an eye on Carlos Sainz. He's falling into the clutches of Lando Norris. So I feel like that soft tyre is only going to get worse, surely. And Oscar Piastri, they might, as soon as he drops out of the points, I'd probably just box that car, to be honest. Because, in fact, I think he might be out of the points already. So I'd really consider boxing it. Verstappen drivability is not there. I lost the rear completely. And his engineer saying, could have been the win, Max. So Max Verstappen is not happy. He has managed to eke out more than a second gap over Lewis Hamilton. So will act as a buffer over the DRS. But even without DRS, you'll still see Hamilton pick up a slipstream here. So as they come into that hairpin and about to enter that long straight, very long straight here at Austin, it was 1.3 around the corner, but you can expect the power of the slipstream to help out Lewis Hamilton. Is that going to be the case? Or is Max Verstappen just managed to streak clear? Well, it's come down a little bit. Let's see at the end of the straight. Might actually be pretty marginal there. In fact, Lewis Hamilton has dropped off quite significantly. So maybe that was a time for Hamilton. And Hamilton on the radio saying Max has been off quite a few times. So he'll be wanting to get Max Verstappen pinged for track limits for sure. Everyone will be at that, no doubt. You can see it's a different class of drivers here in Verstappen, Hamilton and Leclerc. Really getting away from things. And Lando Norris is probably biding his time a little bit. As long as he's not going to be too worried about Sergio Perez and George Russell coming up behind him. Carlos Sainz looks like a little bit of a wounded animal here on those soft tyres. But we will see. Maria would like to see Lando win something this weekend. Well, I doubt it's going to be the sprint race, but you never know. Andre, what's happening with Leclerc? Is he in trouble for tomorrow? Nope, I don't think he is. I think he's in third place and probably not massively disappointed by it. Albeit, I don't think he would have been too happy about the start. So hopefully he's just cooling down a little bit now and just settling in. Mia says Hamilton could be saving tyres. Yes, indeed. Right, George Russell penalty. George Russell penalty, that would have been for driving around the outside when he overtook Oscar Piastri. And he's got a 5-second penalty for it. I'm a little bit surprised by that, because I don't think Oscar Piastri really left enough of a car's width around the outside, and it sort of forced George Russell to go there. So if I'm George Russell and Mercedes, I'm not very happy about that penalty, I have to say. Snowline says, who's tattling on my Max? Not sure what that means. And Hello says, Albano in P9. Yeah, Albon has got past Oscar Piastri. And having a look here at the George Russell overtake. You know what? I don't think that should be a penalty. And yeah, George Russell saying he just ran me off the road. I don't think he ran him off the road. I think Oscar Piastri probably wasn't expecting George Russell to go around the outside. At the moment George Russell ends up going over the curb, he's only really just started the overtake. So it's a little bit harsh to say that Oscar Piastri ran him off the road. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's a close one. It's one that you can look at it both ways. Welcome, Jacob. Sasquatch says it's a bit harsh. RV saying Max had to warm up. Time to say goodbye to Lewis. Wow. That's it. Is Max Verstappen checking out? Although Lewis Hamilton, he's not letting it go. And Lando Norris needs to get a move on to overtake Carlos Sainz. By the way, 980 people watching, 80 likes. Come on, everyone. Hit your like button right now. Smash that like button. Let's have a like rush. Let's boost those likes up. Hit that like button right now. If everyone does it together, we're going to see a massive like surge. A huge like surge. The likes of which we've never seen before. That's what we want to see. We know what to do, chat. Yeah, the top three, I just wonder, is Charles Leclerc catching Lewis Hamilton? Is that happening? We'll have to have a look at the sector times. In fact, I mean, Lewis Hamilton was 2/10 quicker in the first sector than Max Verstappen there, and it is Sergio Perez on the move. So Lando Norris really needs to get a move on, because otherwise there's going to be a Carlos Sainz train here with Pierre Gasly on the back of it. Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris, by the way, trading positions. Lando Norris just couldn't stick it and stay ahead, but he is having a go. Oh, there we go. Over 100 likes, everyone. Awesome to see. Awesome to see, as we still have 12 laps to go in this sprint race. Good to be finally in the racing. Chaya is monitoring the gap, saying it's a 1.7 second difference between Verstappen and Hamilton is only getting bigger, where it's 2.4 now. But keep an eye on the gap between Hamilton and Leclerc. And surely Lando Norris is going to get past Carlos Sainz now. But unfortunately for him, Sergio Perez has joined the party. It looks like Oscar Piastri is desperately trying to defend from Esteban Ocon, with no doubt some damage to his car, unfortunately. Because it's a sprint race, it's just not worth bringing him in. So, no safety cars so far though, unlike we saw in Qatar. We'd had about 83 by now. How was Hamilton in the first sector that time? Again, taking 3/10 out of Verstappen. Is Verstappen trying to look after his tyres or something? George saying maybe Hamilton's harvesting for another push. Could be the case. Could be the case. 2.3 seconds, so the gap is staying the same. And you just don't know in Formula 1 whether the driver is really managing that gap. Joy is liked as well. Vlak is liked. Snowline likes the McLaren boys. Burungi says Hamilton is washed. A shame to us, his fans. Well, your man's in P2 there. I wouldn't necessarily call that washed, considering he's quite a way ahead of George Russell, who's in P7 after he got that penalty. Bit of a penalty weekend there for George Russell. As I just saw a very nice move. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. I thought I saw a very nice move by an AlphaTauri on an Alfa Romeo. So I guess that would have been Yuki Tsunoda on Guan Yu Zhou. But then Yuki Tsunoda just completely ran Guan Yu Zhou out of track. So I'm not sure that one's going to hold. Have a look. Black and white flag for Oscar Piastri track limits. Just going from bad to worse for Piastri, unfortunately. Looks like his car might be a little bit difficult to handle. But this is great news for Alex Albon. If anyone else ahead of him has an issue, he could potentially get a point here in the sprint race, which would be absolutely huge for Williams. I'm sure we'd all love to see it. Meanwhile, Lando Norris. What's happened to Perez? Where is Perez? Oh, Perez is so close to Norris, I couldn't see him. Perez is right behind Lando Norris. So Lando Norris, I think, has had to switch from attack to defence here, because Sergio Perez has arrived at the party. Maria saying the gap just keeps getting bigger. Oh, at the top, it is a little bit. It is a sprint race. How hard do you want to push it? How hard do you want to push your components? Lap turn ones involving Alex Albon and Piastri under investigation, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Not sure Alex Albon ever got ahead of Oscar Piastri, so I'm not sure how that one's worked out. We will see. We will see. But Alex Albon and Oscar Piastri, some instant there, is under investigation. Hamilton now really dropping off. And again, I want to monitor that gap to Charles Leclerc. It's a 3.7 second gap at the moment. But tyres could be critical here. Look at the battle between Lando, Sainz and Perez. For some reason, Sky are not really showing it at all, which I don't understand, because this is the big battle. Logan Sargent, by the way, is right on the back of Valtteri Bottas, absolutely glued. Can Logan Sargent make some positions and not crash? We would all love to see it. And that gap, yeah, Hamilton to Verstappen is growing, but the gap to Charles Leclerc might be staying pretty steady at this moment in time. And look at Lando Norris now having got past Carlos Sainz. So Lando Norris gets past Carlos Sainz, gets the move done, and the question is, how long is it going to take Sergio Perez to get past the weirdly soft-tired Carlos Sainz? Because why is Carlos Sainz on the soft tyre for a 19-lap race here when that seems to exceed the recommended stint length? And they were scrubbed already. I mean, unless it's a big play for the race tomorrow in terms of saving tyres, they want to have fresh mediums available tomorrow, which could be the case, and they're just going to sacrifice this. It's not really helping for the sprint today, dare I say. You can see Lando Norris has already opened up more than the 1 second advantage. Sergio Perez, wow, went a little bit deep into turn 1 there. Maybe had a bit more of a slip and DRS than he thought. Going down the back straight, looks like he's managed to get ahead of Carlos Sainz. How's that going to work into the braking zone? Is Sergio Perez going to stay ahead? It seems like he has. Seems like Sergio Perez has stayed ahead. We're not behind the TV, James. We're actually ahead of the TV, these standings, my friend. You might need to click that live button. Make sure you're live. Make sure you're watching in 1440p. But have a look at the gap now between Hamilton and Verstappen. Keeps dropping. Keeps dropping. Even though Hamilton seems to be just doing better sector 1s, he's really slow in the other sectors. Sector 3 especially, where you have these very tricky technical corners. Chai's on it as well. 3.3 second difference between Verstappen and Hamilton, growing and growing. Hello saying classic Ferrari strategy. Yes, indeed. Ferrari just Ferrari'd it, I think, is what's happened here, if we're honest, right? So, just over halfway through the race, everyone. Who do we think's had a good sprint race? Who's had a good sprint race here so far? Let me know in the chat. James Cox's wife watching from a sports sport in Bogota, Colombia on ESPN. Welcome to Bogota. We are live in the sports bar. We love to hear that. And is Charles Leclerc gonna go for it? Or the top 3 pretty much happy where they are? I'll tell you someone who won't be happy is Sergio Perez. I feel like he needs every opportunity he can to show that he deserves to remain in that seat. No further action, by the way, on that instant between Alex Albon and Oscar Piastri. Turn 1, lap 1, I believe, which did strike me as a little bit unusual that was being investigated. So, Thomas is saying Verstappen, yawning phase. Andre Silva saying Hamilton. So we temporarily lose the telemetry, actually, so I have to go to my backup here and let you know what I'm seeing. Carlos Sainz has lost out to Sergio Perez. That has happened. Whoa! Look how fast Lando Norris is going. And there's still a lot of fighting in right at the back of the grid. Kevin Magnussen, Guan Yu Zhou, Valtteri Bottas, Logan Sargent, all involved in a lot of swapping of positions. But there we go. Sergio Perez is released. And what about George Russell? Surely George Russell will be able to get past Carlos Sainz and get as well. You just have to assume that they're playing a long game here, Ferrari. Playing a long game. Welcome, Joe Mercedes. People saying Hamilton. So it's Hamilton driver of the day? We're thinking Hamilton's going to be locked in for driver of the day, everyone? Is that what we're thinking? Look at that battle at the back of the grid, by the way. Magnussen, Guan Yu Zhou, Bottas, and Logan Sargent are separated by an ant, essentially. It's nothing. They are scrapping, and I'm sure the fans will be loving it, because otherwise the battles we're looking at are George Russell trying to get past Carlos Sainz, which he might be able to do on this back straight even. Keep an eye on George Russell here with the assistance of DRS. Is it going to be a big send, or is he too far away? Might be too far away. I think he'll end up at only about half a second at the end of the straight. Yes, he has. He's closed it down. Pierre Gasly's the next driver coming. I mean, very anonymous race here from the Alpines, I have to say. To be done in P8 and P11, I mean, that team would expect better. Someone says Max is my driver of the day, but you all know that. George Hamilton is eating into Perez's championship P2. Yeah, so there's a lot on the line here. Championship points, although there won't be a massive swing here. It will just be a movement in Hamilton's direction, because there's only 4 positions between them, right? So not a huge amount of points, but points nonetheless. Hamilton seems to be settled in. Likewise with Leclerc. George Russell was all over Carlos Sainz there. Absolutely all over him. Look at that. Look how close it is. Will George Russell have the pace to catch Sergio Perez? It would be very surprising, but frankly, you just don't know. David, is Han Solo in the race or just Lando? I don't think Han's in this race. Patrick's just gone, ooh, Patrick's excited here. As there are only 6 laps to go as we conclude this sprint race, and the carnage at the back of the grid. Go on, Logan Sargent, get involved. Just send it recklessly up the inside. Cause a bit of chaos. Offbeat says, can Lando get Charles? I'd say that gap's too big for me. Look, Pierre Gasly has caught George Russell. Is Russell going to be close enough this time to get past Carlos Sainz? I'm not sure. It might have to be into turn 1. Russell send it? No, he won't. Will Stroll finish ahead of Alonso? That's a big battle there. Wow. If I was Fernando Alonso, right, I would just be chilling right now. I would not. Alonso gets past Stroll. There's your answer. That's why I'm not Fernando Alonso. I'm like, I'm not in the points. The race is tomorrow. Albeit they're starting so low down in the races. Maybe get some racing in now. But if you're not in the points here, look at how it's all spread out of the back, by the way. Guan Yu Zhou has managed to escape the clutches of Kevin Magnussen and Valtteri Bottas quite significantly. So obviously something has occurred at the back of the grid. Laku says, if Lando wins the actual race, I will cry from joy. Well, here's hoping then. Here's hoping for you. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz is again the Spanish Minister of Defence, because George Russell cannot find a way through. Cannot find a way through. Can get another point there, George Russell, if he can get the overtake done.
Can we change tires?
And as we know, points mean prizes. I just wonder here if Lewis Hamilton is scoping out Max Verstappen, and even if he had more pace in reserve, he wouldn't use it now anyway. He wouldn't use it because he just knows that it's all about the race tomorrow. So I wonder if Lewis Hamilton is playing some 4D chess. George Russell, how far behind is he? Wow, he's not sure those standards are completely correct, because he's not particularly close. Not particularly close. Getting some indications on battery level, which is great, because we often don't see that, by the way. And Carlos Sainz is recharging and Russell's neutral, but Russell has less battery than Carlos. I think we need to see more. I need to see more graphics like that so I can let you know what's going on with the deploy. I think the ideal thing is a bit like selling a dummy in football or rugby. You want George Russell to make Carlos think like he's using the energy and force Carlos into using his defensively. Then it turns out Russell isn't, and he can deploy it when Carlos doesn't have any to spare. Isabel's praying to the gods above that Leclerc wins tomorrow. I'm delusional on podium today. Well, I think Leclerc is going to be on the podium today, barring something very, very, very unusual. And talking about things that are unusual, bear in mind that after this sprint, we are going to go to a premiere of a video that I'm very excited to share with you of trying to become a real racing driver, my story of becoming a real racing driver. So I'm really excited to share that with you. So we're going straight there after this stream. But there are 4 laps to go of the sprint. And George Russell still cannot sweat his way past Carlos Sainz. And Sergio Perez has been catching, I believe, well, apart from the previous lap, I believe he's been catching Lando Norris. The gap between them is almost 3 seconds exactly. So if Sergio can start to find a second a lap, then it might work, but otherwise he's going to struggle. But yeah, I just wonder if Hamilton is matching the pace. What do we think about that, chat? Snowline says, I think Hamilton will take P2 in the Drivers' Championship. Welcome, Peter, as well. Tail, how old is Too Old Start Racing? You just got to watch the video that's going to premiere very shortly. I'll let you know all about how to get involved in real-world racing, whether you should do or not. Chance for Albon, no points. I think here it's only points up to P8. But if Pierre Gasly was to have an issue, then yes. But at the moment, Alex Albon is not quite there. If George Russell's... By the way, George Russell, lest we forget, has a 5-second penalty that I think will be appealed. But if he was to take that 5-second penalty, then Alex Albon would only be 2 seconds outside of it. So Alex Albon needs to keep up the pace because Alex Albon is lapping half a second quicker than George Russell. This actually might be something that's been developing I haven't been appreciating. Let's assume that the 5-second penalty sticks on George Russell. Can Alex Albon be in a place to benefit and get a very valuable World Championship point for himself and for Williams? What happened to Kevin Magnussen? He must have had an issue, and Lance Stroll's weirdly in the pits as well. Lance Stroll, have you given up? Why are you in the pits, sir? Lance Stroll, who'd been overtaken by Fernando Alonso, for some reason is boxed. I don't understand it. And Kevin Magnussen must have made a mistake because he'd managed to clear... Oh, no, actually, no, sorry. Maybe just Valtteri Bottas has overtaken him on pure pace because Kevin Magnussen may have been a cork in the bottle there. Offbeat, Lando is closing in too late now. I think it's too late for Lando to get that podium. I really do. That's my honest opinion. Hello saying Aston Martin looking shaky this GP. Oh, Stroll saying I need to box. No brakes. No brakes. Oh, very unusual for that to happen in F1. Very unusual. Maybe you could have a tear off or something getting stuck in the brakes, but not a track you want to have no brakes at the end of that long straight, I've got to be honest. But unfortunate for last try, he wasn't in the points anyway. So just 2 laps to go, everyone, of the sprint. Just 2 laps to go. Just bear with me. And how is Alex Albon doing? Keep an eye on the gap between Alex Albon and George Russell. It's still 7 seconds. It's still 7 seconds. So right now, it wouldn't quite be enough. Wouldn't quite be enough, would it? Yes. Bear with me. Bear with me a second. Okay, what else is going on? What else is happening in this sprint race? Andre, the longest distance between teammates is always Albon and Sargent. Why doesn't Sargent lead the team? I doubt he wants to leave the team. It might be a case of you are politely asked to leave or you are fired. James says, maybe that was my video on Felipe Drugovich you saw. But here we go, 2 laps to go, everyone, of the sprint race. And it is a dominant victory for Max Verstappen, but, you know, there's no... If Lewis Hamilton thought that it was even going to be close, it wouldn't make too much sense to do it now if you then want to save components and parts and use and wear for the race tomorrow. So it's possible that Hamilton's been keeping his powder dry. It really is. I would not discount that at all. Offbeat is 2-4 for Lando, keeping an eye on the gap. I still think it's going to be too late because we are on the last lap right now. And George Russell still cannot get past Carlos Sainz on those scrubbed soft tyres. Yeah, shame for Lando. I think for Lando, it just took him too long to get past Carlos Sainz. So I mean, look at Lando approaching now on Charles Leclerc, but is there any danger Lando could be within DRS on the back straight? Any danger of that? Any danger? Lando Norris is approaching at speed. So hang on, hold on to your hats here. Hold on a second. Lando Norris, are you gunning for this podium? Did you just get within DRS? Did Lando get DRS there? I mean, even if he did, like I said yesterday, the start-finish straight is early here. So I feel like Lando really needed one more lap, or basically needed to get past the Spanish Minister of Defense just one lap earlier. Because look at Lando. Also, Charles Leclerc might have been managing the pace, but I think he's been managing it a little bit too lax to allow Lando Norris get that close, to be honest. Wow. That was very close in the end. But then again, Lando wasn't able to get past Carlos Sainz for a long time. So there's no guarantee. You know, catching is one thing, overtaking is another. But Max Verstappen does win, by the way, does win the sprint here. And it is Lewis Hamilton in second place. And Charles Leclerc, by the skin of his teeth, is going to retain P3 here at the 2023 USGP sprint race. And Lando Norris overtakes him over. That won't matter. We're done. The race is done there. Don't be fooled. Charles Leclerc has just let off. Isabel says, I think Lando's under pressure because Oscar's been doing so well. I completely agree. I think that's why I found that very interesting. Lando was on such a charge. Because I feel like Oscar Piastri has been getting all of the headlines, all of the credit, all of the applause, all of the attention, probably at McLaren. But the reason why Oscar Piastri is down in P10, I believe, is that I think he probably got a little bit of damage to his car coming off the grid there. I think there's a little bit of contact Oscar Piastri had. For me, Lewis Hamilton is very lucky to not get investigated and get a 5-second penalty for overtaking off the track. Now, even if he gets a post-race penalty, it won't matter because he's finished 8 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. But I think he was very audacious there at the beginning, which to me indicates that Lewis Hamilton is really on it here. For a person who often gets accused of not racing too hard, and for someone who has been very clumsy this season, I'm thinking Qatar, I'm thinking Monza with Oscar Piastri, that was a very audacious move to overtake off the circuit. Mink saying Max did his magic again. Chat, let me know. We're going to go to the premiere, but let me know who is your driver of the day from the sprint. I'm going to say my driver of the day. Oh, if Lando Norris had got that move done on Charles Leclerc, it would have been Lando Norris. But I mean, who's really done? You say Hamilton's done well. Verstappen. It's a difficult driver of the day decision, isn't it? It's a really difficult one. Peter's gone Max. Offbeat saying also got damage on the rear wing. Wow. Okay, so on the rear. What do we think, chat, about driver of the day? Amber van der Verde saying Hamilton. Anae saying Lando, MD Hamilton. Chai saying apparently Guan Yu Zhou also got a penalty. Well, that would possibly promote Logan Sargent. Gasly can't be Gasly, really. I don't think it can realistically be Gasly. There's not a lot of drivers here who struck me as having a good race, frankly. I mean, Sergio Perez gained a few paces, didn't he? So maybe you could say Sergio Perez, but it feels a bit wet to give it to Sergio Perez. I mean, this is the thing that people say about sprint races, is that it's not every driver going at it 100% for overtakes, because the risk of damage and everything is too high. And I imagine what happened after Qatar, a lot of the team said, hey, we want to stop. We don't want you to be going around running and destroying our cars. How sweaty does Max Verstappen look as he gets out of the car? He looks pretty good. It's a pretty routine sprint victory here for Max, but it won't be like that tomorrow, everyone. Because Max Verstappen had his lap time deleted and is going to start the race tomorrow in P6. So it's not going to go his own way tomorrow. Now, here's what the plan is, everyone. Big plans right now. So we are going to be back streaming the race tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. It's the feature race here, and we've got Max Verstappen starting in P6. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to a live premiere of a video, very important video that I've made about my journey becoming a real-world racing driver that I feel like you're really going to enjoy. So if you like racing, This is the link. It's going to start in literally less than a minute. So in under a minute, it's going to start here. I'm going to pin this. And the stream will also take you there automatically. Let me know if you're in the chat for that premiere or premiere. Because it really is, if you like racing and you're curious about racing and you want to know, could you be a racing driver? What's it like being a racing driver? This is going to be a very, very, very interesting video. So maybe there'll be some people watching. Whoa, that will be inspired by that. I can see some people are there already, everyone. Some people there already. Yeah, but that's going to conclude the sprint race for today. And now we're going to head over to the premiere. We have a lot of fun in these premieres. And this one is a big video. So please, please, please do go check out the premiere. I'm super excited to share it. And I've decided to premiere it right now because we have such a fun audience here for the F1 stream. So I'm going to end this stream, everyone. And it's going to take us automatically over to the premiere. And I will see you. I will see you there. I'll be in the chat. Bring your popcorn because it's going to get very exciting. Right, I'll see you there.